welcome to this online podcast or video podcast on online learning. Today's title is It Doesn't Always Have to Be Video. Find out which format works best for your audience. If you want to convey a certain content, a certain message, you must of course always have your audience in mind. Just as you adapt your language to your audience, you must also consider in advance how you can best reach your audience. In this workshop, we assume that you will not reach your workshop participants, or generally speaking your target audience, directly person to person in an offline event, but that you will want to use a digital medium to reach them. Well, in order to pick the right medium, you should know what kind of media does your target audience use. Can they all read? Do they have access to the internet or a smartphone? How much bandwidth do you have, and how much bandwidth does your target group have? And how expensive is it to use? Is it to use the internet? Do the people you want to reach hear podcasts on a more regular basis? Are they used to watch, for example, YouTube videos? You should answer all of these questions before you start designing your online education or online course. In this podcast, I will briefly list the various advantages and disadvantages of individual media to give you some guidance in your own selection. Of course, you also have to take your own preferences and previous knowledge into account when producing, so that the hurdle is not too high in the end. Maybe a good video would be the best, but you don't feel confident enough to produce a video yet. Or you simply don't have the equipment. Then think about another option. Maybe an audio podcast will do. If you decide to make a video, there are of course countless forms and formats for good educational videos. Just have a look at Vimeo or YouTube and see how other providers do it. In the following, I would like to introduce you to a few formats: video, audio, and text, and speak a little bit about the advantages and disadvantages. Well, one very often used format is a video, so-called talking head. Talking head means you stand in front of the camera, the way I do it right now, and you talk to your audience. Basically, you deliver a speech. If you feel safe in front of a camera, create a welcome video in which you greet your participants and show them what to expect. Making good videos is not witchcraft, but you have to feel comfortable with it. In the end, of course, the quality should be good enough that your audience will enjoy watching the video. But always keep in mind that your target audience must also have the opportunity to watch the video in the end. How will you present it? Will you share it through a cloud? Do you want to present it via YouTube or WhatsApp or Facebook video? Does your audience have access to the internet, or do you have to distribute it on a CD or a DVD? Do they have playback devices? Well, all these questions have to be answered before you actually start. If you have decided to work with video, then also video screen recording is interesting. That basically means you record yourself and the screen at the same time. In this way you can explain a process and at the same time show how it works by means of a presentation. Sometimes it is the easiest to prepare a PowerPoint or a PDF presentation and then simply record it as a video and add a soundtrack. It is also possible to be in the picture yourself. For example, this can be done quite easily with the function screen sharing with Zoom. Just share your presentation on Zoom and record it yourself, using the Zoom recording function while moderating through the PowerPoint presentation. So that's very easy and basically for free. When obviously you can combine these three. You have the screen recordings and an additional talking head. In a way, that's the way I usually like to prepare these videos myself. But therefore you have to feel comfortable to speak freely, and often it simply takes a certain amount of time until you feel confident and carefree during the presentation. Most of the time this happens exactly when you have completely gotten into your subject. Just try to record your screen and film yourself in addition. You will see that there will be often moments when you don't even notice that the camera is filming you on the side, and you will speak and gesture completely freely. Keep in mind that you might need some post-production at the end, and yeah, obviously you have to guarantee that you have the computer capacities and skills to do the editing. Besides the video recording, you also need a good audio quality. Sometimes it is easier to record only the sound. This also has the advantage that the whole file is smaller in the end and you can send it more easily. So it's basically like a radio production or a podcast, an audio podcast. Again, it's important to think about whether this is a form that will be accepted by your target audience. As you can only hear and not see anything with this medium, a clear and distinct pronunciation is especially important. Otherwise, it will be quite exhausting for the listener to listen to you for a long time. Try to reduce disturbing noises from your surroundings, like shouting, traffic, construction noise, etc. The advantage, obviously, is that just like this video, your target audience doesn't have to be able to read, and you can still convey quite complex content relatively easily. Make sure to choose a format which can be used by most people on different devices, such as computers, mobile phones, audio players. MP3, for example, works very well on most systems. You also can just use a messenger app like WhatsApp, Signal, or Telegram to record and also to distribute your audio recordings. Many people who have smartphones in your region might be used to this type of conversation. So they do not need to open or even install a new app, and it fits their consumer habits. So if this is an option, think about producing an audio file and then distribute it through a messenger app. Well, not everybody has access to computers or smartphones, and then the more traditional way with text files still might work. You do not always have to use a video or MP3 to prepare your content. It's often enough to simply write the content of your lessons, like I do with the PDFs which go along with this course. And of course, and this is easy to prepare, but maybe not everyone you want to reach can read, and sometimes it may be easier for your audience to watch a video or listen to an audio file. Keep in mind that not everyone can print out text and then read it at their leisure. So make sure to choose a format which can be used on different devices and can easily be printed. And if you think it's not possible to print it in the area you want to work, you've got to have to print it out and send it by snail mail, if that's the only way to reach your participants who cannot participate online. Anyway, whatever system you use, make sure that's possible to use it on different devices like Android, Apple, Windows, Linux, computers, etc. And that you don't limit yourself to a certain system. Bottom line is, how do you best reach your audience? Only when you have answered this question, you should start to develop your course. So thanks very much for watching this little video. I hope you got my main point, and it helps you to design a course which really fits the needs of your audience. Thanks very much, and see you at our next video podcast.